What up, everybody? My name is OBR Sukwu, and you're in for a treat. I'm going to show you my process for creating artwork from beginning to end. The initial thumbnail sketches, to the roughs, to the inks, the colors, all of that. To do this, I decided to use my boy Nikkolas Smith as my muse. He's a great artist and painter, and let's be honest, as artists, no one ever draws us, right? We want to be on the canvas sometimes. So why not give my boy some shine? When I began my digital art journey, I started by using Wacom products. What makes this video so special though is that they don't bless your boy with one of their brand new Wacom Cintiq Pro 22 tablets, 4K resolution, anti-glare screen, 21.5 display, LCD. It's a sexy beast. It really is. I just want to take it out for drinks, let it meet my parents. There are 5 stages in my art process: prep, sketch, ink, color rendering, post. Preparation, aka prep, is probably the most important step in the entire process. Why? Because the more thoroughly you prep, the more efficient you become. And the more efficient you become, the quicker you can get through finalizing your artwork. I begin my preparation by drawing thumbnail sketches. This gives me an idea of which route I want to go with, which sketch may be the most effective, or which one speaks to me the most. Once I pick the thumbnail sketch that speaks to me, I start gathering reference images, whether it's from Google or Pinterest, or me taking pictures myself. Look, I even took a picture in the turtleneck. I know I look good, but that's not the point. I really wanted to get that texture and see the way those lines flowed in the sweater so I can incorporate those details into the artwork. Then I warm up, mainly by doing quick poses. 1-minute sketches, about 10 of them to kind of warm up my wrist, get them going. Now, as you can see, this initial sketch isn't the one that I went with. Originally, my idea was to have Nick in his workshop. He's painting, there's plants around. However, it didn't really speak to me. And it wasn't until I spoke to one of my friends, a fellow artist, that I realized it's because I do want to lean more to having my artwork be more fun and amusing. So I decided to go in a whole different direction. And this direction was combining Nick with one of the greatest artists to ever walk this earth. And no, not Michelangelo. Bob friggin' Ross. They're both painters. It just makes sense. So I went back to the drawing board, well, in this case, the sketchbook, and started tinkering with thumbnail sketches again, gathering my references. I ended up choosing the Bob Ross pose that I felt was more iconic when it comes to photographs of him. Then went back to drawing my 1-minute poses to warm up my wrist. And after that, I move on to stage 2, sketching. The software program I use for my digital art is Clip Studio Paint. I love it. I think it's one of the best software programs for artists. It has many tools and features that really help with your digital art. What I also love about Clip Studio Paint is that it has this little device that you can get with it. This is called a TabMate controller. And what this does, it allows me to draw with one hand and control the interface with the other one. Look. That thing cold, it's cold. My initial sketch is very, very rough. It's just so I can get the framing, the skeleton, whatever you want to call it. And I'm making adjustments along the way and continue making adjustments throughout the process. After the very rough sketch, I do just a rough sketch, but this one's a little more detailed. I'm able to place more of the volume, the way the shirt folds and the face and the hair and all those things. Then I move on to the main sketch. I do like my underlining sketches to be in color while my main sketch is in black. This keeps the sketches from looking muddy and I can tell the difference between the main and the roughs. Stage 3, inking. I'm very limited in the brushes I use. I only use like 3, and it's because I'm a purist. I'm a pure artist. I want to draw everything by hand, the textures, the blades of grass, all of it. That's a lie. I'm just lazy. I don't feel like exploring what other brushes do. Just give me my G Real pen, move out my way, and let me get to work. That simple. Just look at the way this pen glides across this Cintiq surface. So smooth, so orgasmic. When it comes to inking, don't worry about perfection. Perfection will kill you, figuratively. Those quote unquote mistakes that only you can see, that no one else can tell, it don't mean anything. Once I started getting out of my head and realizing like, hey, just go for it. I don't care if this line doesn't match the sketch. I don't care if it doesn't look like one of the artists who I admires their work, I'm not erasing, I'm just gonna go for it. Well, I still erase, but not as much. And the more I started doing that, the more I started getting faster. And not only, I realized that these mistakes are actually beautiful. And of course, you gotta do the horizontal flip. It lets you see the mirror image of what you're working on and figure out what looks weird and what looks off. These eyes, they look wonky as heck. But thanks to horizontal flip, I can see the error and I'm gonna fix it. I promise you, I will. Stage 4, like Broman. Well, Broman's actually the 5th floor, but you know what I mean, 4, coloring and rendering. The beginning of this color process is laying down the flat colors. As you can see though, in this Bob Ross photo, they use a complementary color scheme of blue and orange. So I decided to go with that same color palette. But in this case, I went with a blue background, primarily because when you're drawing people, you want that focal point to be in the face. And Nick's skin tone is gonna be primarily in the orange family. So it's gonna allow that skin tone and the face and everything to pop out in that blue background. I'm coloring, using different methods and techniques to get all the colors together. The flats are done, now I'm shading. This is one of the processes I use for shading. It's when I map out where the shadows are gonna go. This is not the best idea, honestly. I should have just filled everything in and then cut out the negative shapes. It's a lot easier that way, but I guess I was just dehydrated or tired, who knows? I just went this route. This technique that I'm using for rendering the shadows is called cell shading. Instead of using one color and setting that layer on multiply for the entire subject, cell shading is when you take each color individually and you adjust its value so that that value has its own shading color. I can't explain why I decided to go this route other than I think it's fun. I also do the same for the highlights. Now remember when I said only use 3 brushes because I'm lazy? I had to use 2 more. To paint the paint smears on this paint palette, I had to use 2 paint brushes I never used. And yep, you're coming on this ride with me. I'm painting and it's not looking too bad. I'm actually kind of impressed with myself. And for the background, it's really simple, just going from light to dark using the airbrush tool. We've reached the end of the process, stage 5. Post, baby. Just like with post-production in movies where you see what you need to fix, what you need to clean up, what you need to add, what you need to take away. I do the same thing with my artwork. I usually step away from it, go do some push-ups, go save a cat from a tree, come back with fresh eyes and see what needs to be adjusted. It can be resizing a body part, cleaning up shadow shapes, putting the entire artwork in grayscale so I can balance the color values, adjusting the brightness, the saturation, or making sure my goddamn signature can be seen. And when it's all said and done, we got the final product, the finished illustration. Nikkolas Smith as Bob Ross, AKA Nick Ross. So that's it. That's my process for creating artwork from beginning to end. I want to thank Wacom, give them a big shout out for sending me this sexy machine. Also, I do hope that you learned something from this, but realize there's also chaos behind the scenes. We all go through this. Your favorite artist is crying in front of their tablet right now, but the struggle is worth it because at the end of the day, we end up making these beautiful, magical masterpieces that not only the masses like, but that you love. And that's all that really matters, is that you're creating what you want, you're expressing yourself, you're doing you. So keep on going, keep on working, keep on striving, keep on practicing, keep on getting better, and keep on creating the best artwork that you can. Peace. I'm a millennial, so I'm gonna throw up that peace sign, all right?